fear-free human. This is primarily a show for coaching others in using what we call the internal guidance system. The internal guidance system is something that is within each and every one of us. We're born with it, and you've been feeling it your entire life. It shows up as a lump in the throat, tightness in the chest, or a sick feeling in the solar plex. And these are not just feelings about what's going on in the world around you or what somebody just said to you. These are actual sensations in relationship to what you're thinking. And when you learn how to listen to these signals, decode them, and change your thinking, you become empowered in your life and your life begins to change. This show in particular is about how do you do that? How do you change your thinking? There are things that you've been thinking for years about people that are not true. I know, sounds crazy. Things that you think that they believe about you, or things that you may have said to them that you believe they're still upset with you about, or they'll never forgive you for. And these are the types of things that are not true. So, as of right now, we have Trisha S., who is in the lobby. I'm going to go ahead and bring her in, and we're going to start our coaching session for today. Trisha, I just want to make sure that you have your camera on and that you are ready to go. I'm going to bring you in right now. And you'll need to go ahead and unmute. Hold on, we're waiting for her to arrive. And while we do, if you're interested in this also, and you know that you want to be able to come on and start and coach with me about really tough issues, and I'm talking tough issues, things like, we have a huge success story recently that I love to tell success stories of a couple who have been co-parenting for a while in constant fight about co-parenting. The woman began using her internal guidance system, noticing when she was closed about what her ex-husband was saying about scheduling and about all of those kinds of things, and started using her internal guidance system, stopped reacting in the same way that she did, and just allowed him to continue to react the way that he reacts to things. And within a couple of weeks, that's as fast. This is fast. This work is really, really fast. He blew up at her and called her back and said, "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that." And they have been successfully working happily on co-parenting, just in her making a difference. You are the one that needs to make a difference. And I'm just waiting here for Trisha to come on. It's looking like let's see, she's muted. Looking and seeing. Trisha, if you want to give me in the chat, are you actually coming on for coaching? Let's see here.
I'm not sure.
There you are. I see you. I can hear you now. Okay, good. You don't have to turn on your camera. Let me finish what I was just saying, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So the thing is you're the one who needs to change, not the people around you. And I don't mean that from a place of being a victim or like everybody else is what they're doing to you is fine. What I mean is when you begin to change your reaction, the world around you begins to change at how it responds to you. And that's where your power lies. And that's why taking responsibility and understanding how to use your IGS is so transformative and happens so quickly. Hi, Trisha. How you doing? You could go ahead and talk. There you go.
I was just going to run and get a cup of tea. But there's not a lot of us on here. Okay.
Not yet. Nope. So go ahead and share with me. Let's get started on our coaching and not wait for the tea, if that's okay.
Okay. I have a friend that I have distanced myself from because I feel as though she triggers me and I trigger her. And so I've prayed about it, I've written about it, processed it. And there's a part of me that wants to renew that friendship because I like doing things with her, but I need better boundaries. And I've gone back to the book. I'm reading the book again. And I don't know if I've got a frozen mind or what's going on about that.
Okay. Well, let's start with the fact that, do you remember the concept from Stress to Happiness, where the world around you is a mirror?
Absolutely. She is a big mirror.
Huge mirror. Huge
yes.
mirror. That's why.
Yes.
Which is why you want to.
My controlling
which
issues.
Is why. Excuse me. Everybody at my kids' school is sick, and I'm starting to get a little bit of a cold. So if you see me itching my nose, it's because I got a little bit of a runny nose. It's anyhow. That's why you want to renew the friendship, is because you guys have not cleared up what you're here to clear up deep on a deep soul level. So anytime we're triggered, okay, so I'm going to explain the concept of the world being a mirror for everybody who's listening, because not everybody's taken stress to happiness like you have. So basically, the law of attraction is kind of only half true. The truth of the matter is that the world around us shows up as a mirror. It's a reflection of our soul, both the beautiful, amazing, incredible parts of ourselves and the parts of ourselves that need to get cleaned up. There she is. Hi, sweetheart.
More white
Um,
hairs.
there you go. You look adorable. Good color for you, by the way. I love that blue.
Thank you.
Okay, so what happens is the world, what comes to us in the world is what we are inside as a soul, as a being.
That's
And
right.
the people who trigger us are parts of ourselves that we're not recognizing, that are blind spots that need to be cleaned up. I call it polishing your diamond, all right,
Right.
of your
Just read
soul.
that class.
You just
Yeah,
read
I've just
that
read.
that part of the
Mhm.
book, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Well, yeah,
So
I've read it on the I've got the audio too, and I'm working
good.
on that.
Okay, so tell me, can you give me one? We're going to work with one specific thing at a time, because it's not about a big blanket thing. It's like, what is the one thing? So I'm feeling like there's several things that you guys like go at each other at a little bit and get triggered about. But what's like, give me one thing that really bothers you.
But the last thing was that when I when I give her directions about the car, about driving, the last time that happened, she blew up at me and said some very hurtful things, has never apologized. I have apologized for my part, and I have taken that lesson to heart with my daughter and other people. When people, I've had to go to the emergency room lately, and I started telling the person that I was how to get there from my neighborhood, and I stopped doing that. So I still have that defect.
Okay,
But I'm
so
but
this, when you're dealing with a mirror, it's not a defect. First of all, you're not defective, sweetheart. That's not how it works. Okay.
okay.
Either if you're triggered by someone else or something else in the world, either you're doing it to yourself, meaning inside your head noise. Okay. You're doing it to someone else and you're not recognizing it, or you're wishing that you could do it, and your rule, some fake rules, some system that you're living under says you're not allowed to do that. Okay. So there is a place where so it's not you giving the directions. That is the mirror part. The mirror part is someone trying to help you, and you're blowing up at them, at yourself, or you're wishing that you could blow up and tell somebody to knock it off, and yet you won't let yourself, because you think that you'll be rude, or it's inappropriate, or it's not right for you. That is what the mirror is about. It's a blind spot. It's a place where you're doing it and you're not noticing or seeing it.
Well, I didn't see it for a long time, and the person that really made me aware of it was my daughter, because I was doing that with her, and she said, "Oh," and I was
Were you
doing other
blowing up with
things.
her?
I would just give her
Were you
directions,
blowing
and
up
she
at
said,
her?
so you could say I was blowing up at her. I was telling her, go this way, it's faster or it's safer. And she said, I'm doing it my way. And
Yes. Okay. Okay. So there's another piece, is there's a place where so there's either the blow up piece where you're getting frustrated with people and you're not realizing it, or you're getting frustrated and blowing up inside at yourself, which I think is what's really happening. I think you make a mistake and you beat yourself up.
well, yeah. And I think everybody else is like me. I call that my perfectionism. So they want to know what's the fastest way to do something or the fastest way to get someplace. And so I'm trying to help them. And so I think I'm trying to help them, but it's taken as control. And I want to be able to let it go. But she also has some
Okay, so
other that
there's
my
two
friend has some
issues.
other
There's two
habits.
issues. There's
Okay.
two different issues here, because the
Oh,
person is blowing up at you, which means you're blowing up somewhere in your life and not forgiving yourself or someone else, or you wish you could blow up and not forgive. Okay, that's one issue. Then we've got the issue of control, needing to tell people the fastest, bestest way to do something.
Yeah.
Those are two different issues. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I don't know about the blowing up part, but I sure
Yeah.
do identify
Okay.
with the control.
So
That's a big issue.
what we're going to look at right now, yeah. So let's just wait as you see. So what's the other thing that happens with this friend?
Well, she has some habits that just drive me crazy, like wearing clothes that expose parts of her body that I'm very uncomfortable with. And I'm feeling embarrassed for her, and for myself.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I've let it go to some extent, but it still bothers me. And I've also given her when I cut off the relationship, she sent me a letter telling me all the things that she enjoyed doing with me. But she never said one iota about all the time I gave her, my skills with people, the time I've given her to help her emotionally and spiritually. Never acknowledged that at all. And she's also in one of my programs, and she's into her addiction. And I feel I can't keep my mouth shut about that. I need to let her have her own journey. So I
Okay.
think that's about it. I think that's enough stuff.
Well, that's enough to start with. So,
Oh my God.
so number one, the first one of what she wears,
Hmm.
right? You have judgment,
Yeah.
okay, about what she wears, and you have judgment about her, um, I forgot where her program that she's running with her own addiction. So you have judgments
Hmm.
about her.
Yeah.
Judgments kill miracles. You can't see anything different. When you have a judgment about somebody, it's almost an instantaneous thing, and then the entire lens with which you see that person is only from that judgment place. So there's no way it can change because that's all you're going to see.
Well, I know that
Okay?
with my head, but in my heart, I can't seem to stop that. And so I don't want to hurt her anymore.
So it
So I'm,
comes back to the mirror
yeah.
of you're either judging yourself, you're
Well,
judging
for not
somebody
being
else, which you already
forgiving.
know you're judging her, and you're not knowing it, or you wish you could be judgmental. So it comes back to I really do think that this is from what I know of you because I've known you for many years.
Mhm.
I think this comes back to you paying attention to your own head noise about yourself and really looking at there's different places to look at this, but I think that you would there's and I want you to just check this out. Okay. And at first, when we first hit upon some of these places with a mirror, people can feel a little indignant or like, no way, that's not who I am, because it can be hard. But I think there's a way that you might want to be dressing a little more provocative, not the same way she is, a little more dressy, a little more pretty, a little younger. And there's a judgment you have that you're of a certain age, and so you have to look a particular way because you're a beautiful woman. You are.
No
And
comment.
there may be some ways in which you're like, well, no, I can't do that anymore because I'm of a certain age and I have to act a certain way. And so therefore so does everybody else. And so my coaching for you on
Oh,
this,
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've had that thoughts.
mhm. And so my coaching on this would be to really look at the judgments that you have. Are they true for you or are they what society has been pushing on you? There's this great meme that's out there about the Golden Girls. Remember the show, The Golden Girls?
Oh, yes. Mhm.
Yeah, remember? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's this meme out there about how there's these older women, right? And they're younger than what we perceive. So for instance, I am the same age as um what was her name? The big tall and the one I call her a broad because she's got that broad attitude, but the
Maud.
big tall Maud. I'm 2 years older than Maud in the show.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
I'm
Yeah.
55 years old.
I
So
didn't realize she
there's
was
this
that young.
right. Right. I know. It's like you go back and you look at how old they were,
They weren't that
but
old.
they weren't that old. In
No.
fact, one of them was 46.
Oh.
I know. And so we're evolving to a place where women, and a lot of it's hairstyle and color and what we wear and how we
Mhm.
carry ourselves youthfully and take care of our skin and all of that, right? So the thing is that you were raised in a bunch of judgment. There's the
Yeah.
control aspect of how to get there faster and efficiently,
Mhm.
and that's
Yeah.
part of that I believe is part of your one of your gifts in life is how to make processes better. You just can't use it on your friends. You got to use it in more of a work environment with your church, with groups that you volunteer for, or that kind of thing. That's a gift, okay? That you're using when you're not being asked to use it. Okay?
Okay.
But the trigger part is around either blowing up at people or yourself inside, or wishing you could blow up with somebody and say, "Hey, you need to stop this. You need to knock this off. This is not okay with me that you're doing this to me." And so therefore, moving forward, this is how we're going to be working on it. There's a way in which you want to stop somebody from treating you a particular way. And then really look at the judgments that you have, because a lot of times those fast, quick judgments are coming from values that are not authentically ours, that are given to us from that society or cultural or the culture around us, right? And they may not be true for you, which is why they give you that closing and that irritation.
Well, I have a thought about that. I've done a lot of reading, writing, praying, and working on my perfectionism. And that was my response to feeling ashamed of my parents and shamed by my parents. And so I have decided that I remember when I was in college and I worked in a clothing store, I bought navy, black, and brown skirts. Navy, and the lady I lived with, and the sweaters, I had cardigan sweaters. They were the big thing at that time.
Mhm.
And the lady I was living with said, "Well, everything you have is so dark." So I went out and bought a teal blue sweater and a red sweater.
I
And
love that.
and so I dress very conservatively, classic. I call it classic. So that kind of fits for me, and she doesn't.
And maybe there's a part of you that would like to dress less conservatively and have more flash and show your beauty off more. But there's a
Yes.
part of you that believes that it's not okay. And that part is closing and not true.
Okay. I accept that. Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe it would be a good idea, right? And have you shared with her that that's how you feel about some of the stuff she wears?
Yes, I have. Several years ago. We were friends for 3 or 4 years. Yeah,
Yeah.
and she kind of almost, I even suggested, wear longer shirts so you're not showing that part of your body. And and she told me that, and she talks very loudly too, and that's really uncomfortable. I have hearing aids, and my audiologist said that when you have a hearing problem, loud noises are even louder for
Mhm.
you. So
I think the two of you can work this out if she's willing. And she wrote you a beautiful letter that would
yeah.
say that she's willing. You expecting her to notice something that you did for her, right? Without her saying something does not that check in with that on your IGS, because I know you know how to use it. Hold on. I'm
Bless
coming
you.
down a little. I'm coming down a little
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I know that that's giving with an expectation, and I didn't know I had that.
yeah, that's the stuff. Yeah, and you shouldn't have an expectation. I give without expectation all the time. In fact, giving with expectation is called manipulation. It's not something
Yeah.
you want to participate in anyways,
Yeah.
right? And I believe that giving in the way that we're talking about, it just comes back to you tenfold in some other way. That's why I believe we always have what we need before we need it. Okay, is because we're always giving things and working with people. That's who we are. So my coaching for you today is get together with her and maybe she can help snazz you up a bit in a way
Oh,
that's
she
comfortable,
does no,
all
no,
right?
no. Her taste and mine are different as far as clothes go.
D No, it
No,
doesn't have to be that you're gonna dress
yeah,
like her. I'm just saying, I'd like to look a little, do it however you wanna do it, but
okay,
I know for me, um, I've had to go to girlfriends and ask them to help me get out of I have a very hippie, kind of Northern California style about me just because of the way I was raised. It makes me comfortable. And before I've gone on stages and gone to particular events, I've had to take some girlfriends out and be like, okay, get me out of my rut.
yeah,
Let's go to
yeah,
some consignment stores and get me out of my rut because they'll hold up something. I go, oh, that will look. I can't wear that, and I'll put it on. I'm like, oh my gosh, it looks amazing, and I
yeah,
would have never chosen it because it's not my thing, but
yeah,
it was perfect, right?
okay,
So that's a way you guys can kind of connect together. But the other piece is really look at your own beating up on yourself in your own mind because and blowing up at yourself inside and getting mad at yourself inside because I think the mirror
yeah, yeah, I
where
am
other
doing
people
that.
are blowing up at you, I think the mirror is where when other people are blowing up at you, it's because you're blowing up at yourself inside and you're not stopping that. And the two, once you learn how to soften with, it's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to not get it done when I say I'm going to get it done. Whatever it is, and you can write it out and look at like, gosh, most of the time it'll be your mom and your dad. You'll be like, yep, this is the garbage they said to me. That's not true. It's not how God feels about me.
Okay,
God's never asked us to be perfect. In fact, the whole thing is we can't be. That's the whole point of Jesus coming, right? So we
right,
can't be perfect. So
right.
get rid of that because that's not coming from grace and
No,
divinity. Is that helpful?
yes, thank you.
Yes, good. And then come back and we'll work on the next 5 or 6 problems with this wonderful friend you have that's a soulmate. Helping you to become um, polish that diamond of yours.
Thank you, thank you. Bless you. I
You're
keep telling
welcome,
my friends
sweetie.
about your
You're
work.
welcome. All right. Thank you. I love you. All right, now I have to figure out I'm still working on all of this. Okay. I'm going to work on there's one thing that I'm going to go I've watched so many tutorials of there we go. How to use this new Riverside. This software, Riverside FM, by the way, uh, if you do any of this kind of work, is just amazing. I am blown away by what's possible for this work. So we don't currently have any other people. I'm going to put in the chat the uh, the way to. Let's see if I can get that to. In 1 second here, I'll copy the invite link and pop that into the chat so that you guys can see it. And I'll try to pop it into the chat in YouTube here real quick too. The thing that I really want you to know is that I think it's already in there. There we go. Okay. The biggest thing that I want you to know about using your internal guidance system is unless you use the body to reprogram the mind, the same patterns are going to keep coming up over and over and over again. You cannot actually change the mind with books, with therapy. You cannot change the the triggers and the ways that you react to things by going and taking a weekend long course because you're not changing anything. You've got the mind working on the mind. It's like a surgeon working on himself. It's just, or herself. It doesn't work. In the moment that the challenge is happening, that's when you go, ooh, I'm tight. Something is off in the way that in how that I am perceiving this situation. And then there is a set of tools that I've developed over the past 23 years by decoding this for myself. This isn't somebody else's work. I sat there and I figured out for myself when I was closed in the middle of a fight with my spouse, or when I was collapsing at a dinner table because my girlfriend said something to me that just made me feel just go hollow inside. It hurt so bad. Or being in the middle of a negotiation on a with a contractor on that was going to do work on my house and feeling intimidated. All of these places is where our stuff shows up. And this work, Fear Free Human, the real experience of it is that in the moment that you are in the trigger that was caused and created between the ages of 0 and 7, you're able to actually stop and work with it privately in the middle of the argument with your spouse, or so you can come back to the lunch with your friend having quickly processed whatever it was that was said. That was nothing had nothing to do with what she said. It had to do with the programming from when you were a little kid about what that thing she said means about you. And what happens is you become your own guru. You become your own healer, and you're able to shift it. And when you shift it, each time you go from, the time where you're hollowed out and they've said something that's hurt your feelings that normally you would hang on to for weeks or never say anything about, or just not take their text the next time, you're able to stop in the moment, fix whatever is a lie, is not true about the way you're interpreting it, and come back to the lunch. And at over time, you actually get to a place where you feel so not vulnerable about those feelings, where you're like, "Oh my gosh, when you said that, I just totally remembered this thing that happened and da 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 da, and I took it this way, but that's not what you're saying at all." And you're free to be like, "No, no, that's not what I'm saying at all." Or you'll be able to come into the middle of the argument with your spouse and say, "Whoa, I just heard it this way. I realized that is not true. And so tell me more. Tell me more about what it is, because I'm being defensive. Defensive is always closing. And I wanna know more." And it brings more intimacy and more love and more connection into your relationships. And so this program, this coaching, if you want to be a part of it, it's free to do this YouTube coaching with me. The way that you get on the list so that you can get the link ahead of time and you know when each of these Fear Free Human coaching shows happen is go to fearfreehuman.com, fearfreehuman.com. And at the very top, you put in your name and your email address, and that is a specific email list where you will get notification 24 hours before the event with the link on how to come, just like Trisha just did. And you'll also get a reminder an hour ahead of time. You will also be allowed access to a calendar, which will give you a month at a time so you can plan your life around being able to come in and get coaching. If you like this, if you're feeling like, I would love to be able to be in the middle of a situation where I'm feeling at my worst, I am triggered, I'm upset, and you would like to be able to train your mind to not have those experiences anymore, to be calm, cool, collected, know how to manage it, and rewire your brain, my recommendation is the fastest way to do that is to do the 5-day Recreating You game for $5. 5 days for $5, and that's also at fearfreehuman.com. Check it out. See if this is for you. See if this is something that you like. If it's not, it's not. But I think you'll be amazed in 5 days how different your world will look and how different you'll feel. Like I said at the beginning, I love success stories. And I just recently had an amazing success story and that I was beginning to mention, where we have a couple who is co-parenting and they have been fighting and struggling, and they've been collapsing inside and really having a hard time. And in her doing the work and not reacting and catching her own closings and changing her own thoughts and about what he's saying, or they can't get together at this time, or they have to move the place to for pickup over here and all that, of her stopping instead of getting triggered, of being like, he's trying to control me again. He's trying to control the way everything has to happen. Closed. It's not what he's doing. Working with her own closings, finding openings, and then being like, yeah, sure, we can do that. His blow ups, he started recognizing that he was the one that was being the one that was blowing up. He's not even doing the IGS work. And he started calling and apologizing and being softer, and the relationship's working, and it's only been a couple of weeks. I've seen marriages that have not been completely healed in a 6-week period, but have gotten to a place where they're able to communicate and they're back on track at creating an amazing experience. I've seen mother and daughter relationships healed. I've seen people excel in their career in ways they never thought possible because they were able to walk in and ask for the raise because it opened them. In fact, it opened them to ask for more money than they would have ever dreamed of asking for. And when they got the yes, they were just blown away. So if you want to have control and take and have the experience of moving your life forward because you can check in and know what to say, what to do, when to do it, how to change it, how to shift it, fearfreehuman.com is the place to go. Also, I'll be back here this week on Wednesday. I look forward to hearing from you. Sign up if you want to find out when that's going to be at going to fearfreehuman.com. I don't see any other people at this time that need some coaching. So I'm going to go ahead and close the call out. I will always put when we're live, the how to get to the studio in the chat on both YouTube and in the Riverside FM chat. So when you go to YouTube and you're in there, if you click the button, it'll open up the Riverside FM app so that you can click on the link. So if you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, then you'll also be notified when I schedule a show. So there's lots of ways to get in here to get this coaching done. All right, I'm sending you love and blessings. Mwah. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.